Well, hey guys, Thorzax here, and during my days off, I've been had some stuff on the back burner about my pistols and things like that. So I've been kind of messing around with them, but I've been putting a lot of time in down at work. I I'm not trying to diss anybody or find fault with anybody. I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to say, just have a little constructive criticism here. This book, okay, it may not look like much, but I'm going to tell you what, if you look at how worn out that is, I've read this cover to cover, just cover to cover, and this book reveals things as you advance and you start understanding, and you really start understanding what the book is saying, and then certain sentences and things that are in here that you didn't pay attention to before kind of jump off the page at you, because it's like, wow, yeah, I get it, man. I know what that guy's talking about here, and because I've seen it, I've felt it, I knew it, and I know what that guy's talking about. I've experienced it. So if you guys can find this book, I mean, it's a great book. Most of all, one of the things that I would do, get a book that discusses marksmanship. And, you don't go out and buy some thing written by some guy that has a video that he wants to sell with it and all that other crap. Okay? Because 90% of what you're going to hear out of those guys is nothing but crap. Okay? This is the real deal. This is, it's sight alignment, and, being able to line the sights up and squeezing the trigger. It's a one thing, and I'm telling you what, you guys, you just got to experience it. That's all. So, anyway, yeah, this used to be available from Gil Hebard Guns. It's just a bunch of old articles from a lot of the, the pros. These guys were, during the 50s, 60s, 70s. These guys were the titans, man. These guys would go out and shoot a bullseye match, a 300 bullseye match, and they came out with like 298, 300. I mean, it would get down to X count. That's how good these guys were, with open sights too, and guns from that era. So, yeah, if you're sitting there and you're just worrying and you're tripping and you're worrying about your bullets and you're worrying about what kind of lube to use and am I using the right powder and all this stuff, that's probably about 30% of what accuracy is. Accuracy is being able to, know what you're doing, and being able to know whether or not you've assembled good ammo versus bad ammo, or if it's just your marksmanship skills that need to be worked on. So anyway, what I wanted to expand on, okay, taking the liberty to remove this, okay, this right here, that's a Bomar rib with an extended front sight. This gives you like a 7.5-inch sight radius, and this is what you need to shoot 50 yards. I mean, it doesn't look that great when you put it on your gun. A lot of people are like, it looks kind of weird, but you know what? This is what they used back in the day, and they turned some really good scores. There's nothing wrong with the Bomar. The Bomars are very, very precise sights. I mean, very precise. In fact, so precise that it's probably the #1 copied rear sight that you can buy out on the market. I mean, just about everybody makes these now, because I guess something happened. The family that had Bomar, they didn't renew their patent rights or something. And when the owner died, it just kind of left it up to everybody. Everybody could make one. So, I don't know. That says something to me. I mean, if all those other companies are going to fall in line and they're going to start making Bomars, it tells me that the Bomar it's worth, it's worth, it's worth it. It's a good sight. But, kind of like a machinist rule, if you can't see it and it's all fuzzy, then it's not much good for you anymore. I'm up there in age now where my eyes have failed me, and when I throw that thing up there, I'm telling you what, I used to just have a really nice clear sight, and I've really got to concentrate, and I've got about 3 seconds to make a good shot. Like if I was going to make it like a 50-yard shot, I've got about 3 seconds there with my finger on the trigger, taking up the slack while I'm starting to align those sights. And I'm telling you what, I used to be able to do it with this and just, not a problem. But now that front sight phases away, and it's all fuzzy on the edges, and that's not good for good accuracy. So anyway, let's move on. I went back to putting a red dot on my 45s. It's an AccuDot. These, in my opinion, now this is strictly my opinion, these are the best. And the reason why I say that is because they have a very small viewing window in the back. So it's very easy for you to get that centered. Now, if you have a great big lens back here and you have that dot there in the center, that just gives you more room for error. So this makes it very precise in the way of putting that dot in the center. But anyway, so this is my rock rubber. Yeah, it's quite the pistol, dude. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah. Metal form. See if you can. Yep, metal form magazines, dude. That is a hole puncher for 50 yard, bullseye. The mount is a Clark, and Clark, what they did is they copied the bolt pattern of the Bomar. Any of the top, mounted sight bases that you're going to buy for the, 45 ACPs, they're all patterned after the Bomar. So, I know I have that Mascot, for instance. The Mascot is patterned after the Bomar. It's just a standard patterning. Anyway, I'll show you what it looks like here. Now this one here has been modified, and but there you go, right there. Just like that. This is off of my Dick Shockey pistol, which, by the way, this one here, as you can see, doesn't have the brass deflector. This one does. That little brass deflector, what it does is it keeps gunk from building up underneath your dot sight, and it just keeps things cleaner. And it's a lot easier to clean the gun when you're doing periodic, cleaning into the gun. Wiping it down, getting the bulk of the garbage off there. But yeah, that's what the bottom of your red dot is going to look like if you don't have one of these. And this little deflector thing, this is actually the brainchild of a guy named Roddy Toyota, and Roddy Toyota is in Oregon. He's a professional firefighter, and he's up there in age. I don't even know if he makes these anymore, but I've got a few of them around here, around the house, and I'm going to modify that one, to accept it, and I'm going to go ahead and machine it and tap it and put it on there. So it's going to be part of the deal there. But anyway, so that's the woes of when your eyesight starts to fail you. You just, you gotta do what you gotta do. A red dot will not make you a better shot. It might, at first, it might help you a little bit because it's a little easier to use. But if you haven't worked out with the iron sights, then it's easier for you to get bad habits with this, and you start getting sloppy, and you're squeezing the trigger where you think the dot is and not actually where it is. So you have to watch the dot, just like you watch the front sight on the Bowmar. You have to watch the dot. It's just that the dot is easier to see. And you just got to get in that whole mind thing where you got your fingers on the trigger, you're coming down, you see the red dot, you put in the red dot, boom, and there it is. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and throw this little video together. I haven't really got much else to talk about, so I'll tell you what, guys, until the next video.